this way, but my walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way. Jesus, there's freedom in your name. You break every chain, oh Lord.
Warfare Unit at UCAN Studios. I'm here with Cindy. Cindy, say good morning.
Good morning.
Before we get to Cindy, if this is your first time, please go to Spiritual Warfare Unit. Like, share, and subscribe. We cannot help people without your help. And if you know someone that's struggling, tell them to go to spiritualwarfareunit.com, click on struggling, and you will see that we have over 20 partners in the community that will help people with food and clothes and housing and baby formula and classes and all kinds of things. If you have family members that are struggling with drug addiction or alcohol addiction, please go to UCANmichigan.com. That is UCAN, UCANmichigan.com. Click on struggling. You put your information in, and we will have someone call you within 24 hours to help out with housing, drug rehabilitation, mental health, all the things that you need while you're struggling with those kind of things. All right. Cindy Johns, how are you this morning?
I'm very good. Thank you.
And you are from Carriage Ministries, is that correct?
That's right.
And you said you've been with them for 18 years.
Yes.
Okay. What is your official title?
I'm the Director of Advancement.
Director of Advancement, advancing
That's it.
stuff.
Advancing Carriage Ministries in the community.
I'm the director of making stuff move.
That's right.
I like that. That sounds important.
Sure.
All right. So you guys have been in the community for how long again?
We started in 1950, so 73 years.
73 years you guys have been working for Jesus.
That's right.
Man. And that's right downtown Flint. It's on Garland and 5th.
Garland and University.
Garland University. All right. Oh, 5th to get to Garland to get to
Yes.
All right. And you would know better than me. And so for 18 years, and I wanted to get your story because I want to know why you did that. So before we get that story, we have to find out where you came from. So did you grow up in Flint or?
I did. I went to Flint schools, graduated.
Which side of the city?
I went to Southwestern, so the south side.
Okay. And brothers and sisters?
I have one brother.
One brother, that's it? Older, younger?
Younger.
Ah, boy,
Don't
that
tell
was a
him.
smile. All right, so you're growing up in Flint. Anything, what did your parents do?
My dad worked in education.
Really?
In the Flint schools, and that's...
Like a teacher?
No, he was in administration.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
All right, and your mom, she stayed home, or?
She did most of the time, but sometimes she taught some sewing classes through the Bishop Sewing Council.
Bishop Sewing
Yeah.
Council, what is that?
That's an old term, but they used to teach sewing classes in the schools.
Oh, no kidding. I guess that would have been a good skill.
Different era.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, like when I teach kids about cursive.
Oh, yes.
My daughter's like, what language
What's
is
that?
that? And I'm like, are you for real right now?
Yep.
I've never felt smart before.
So you
it
can
was
write
weird.
in code for your kids and just write cursive.
Right. They had no idea what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I could have told them it was Chinese. They never had an idea. Anyways, getting old's more fun than people appreciate. So anyways, you grew up, anything in your childhood or early school that kind of developed who you were, your personality, like where you're going now?
As we were growing up, we always went to church.
Mm-hmm.
We were always encouraged to serve. My parents volunteered in the church. My dad volunteered a lot in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it set a precedent of just seeking to meet the needs of people that we run into.
So what'd your dad do in the community?
He worked a lot on the Canusa games. That was probably the biggest thing he did.
I did Canusa.
Did you? I did as well.
Really? What did you do?
Badminton, bicycling. Yeah.
Yeah, I did soccer.
So
Yeah, I loved that. Is that still a thing?
it's a small thing, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
It was really big back then.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was when AYSO and all that was kicking off, right?
Before, yeah.
So anyway, so you grew up in an environment where your family was always helping people, and it kind of just that was just a natural thing for you.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So getting into high school, were you like a nerd? Were you did you do good grades? Did you do sports? Like what did you look like?
I did okay on my grades, but I was on the swim team.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that my parents also required is
Swimming?
something.
Oh, something.
You
Something
get to choose, but yeah, you had to get involved in something.
As a parent, I'm like, I'm not saying that I need you to get out of the house. But I'm saying get out of the house.
Yeah, get out of the house, learn teamwork,
Right.
you know.
And swimming, that's, individual team, individual awards plus team.
Yes.
Any memorable experiences doing that?
No, I was only a moderate swimmer
Well, how long did you do that for?
for all 4 years.
Did you, freshman and senior? Mm-hmm. All right. So you're a moderate student. Do anything else? Like scholastically, drama, anything like that?
No.
All right. So graduate high school, and what year was that?
Oh, my. Now you want to know my age?
Well, I just want to get the timeline. You don't have to
Okay.
tell me if you really don't.
1978.
Okay. So you graduate in 78. Now, do you go to college? You stay here, community? What
I
happens?
did 2 years at Flint U of M.
Flint U of M.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good school. I was pleased with it. And then I transferred to Taylor University. It's a small school in Indiana, and finished up my computer science degree.
So computer science. Wow.
Yes. Much different than what I'm doing now.
Yeah. That's like a smarty smart degree. Yeah. So why to Indiana?
Taylor University was a small Christian college in
Yeah.
Indiana, and it was one of in this area, more of a leading school in computers.
Oh, and why did you go? Like, why was that the thing?
I like the flow of flowcharts, patterns, making procedures, which computer programming is all of that. It's getting from point A to point B in the best possible way.
No kidding.
And so that interested me. And it was obviously an up-and-coming career choice at the time.
Sure. So you go into this. I have to admit, you're the first person I've ever heard saying flowcharts are calming, other than my wife.
Okay.
Right? Who was like, when I go on surgery, I'm going to put you out a spreadsheet so you know what to do. I was like, if you give me a spreadsheet for making macaroni and cheese, I'm going to throw that away. She's like, well, I just want you to know. I'm like, oh my gosh. So you are like so I see. So advancing, moving forward is making the direct plans and creating that. So it kind of fits into what you're doing.
In a way, I suppose so. Yeah.
All right. So you said you went to Taylor. Mm-hmm. What was your social life like? What was that like?
Oh, well, Taylor's a small school, and so it was just fun being around our girls. We had like a suite of about 10 girls, and
Not on campus? Or
it was on campus, yes.
Oh.
So our dorm was set up as in a suite setting.
Okay.
So that particular group of girls, we did a lot together, played together, went down the street for ice cream. That was a big thing in the
In the 80s?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
and
it
it was
was.
a very small town. So we
Yeah.
kind of, made our own fun.
So I had like, so in my brain, I'm picturing corn.
Yes, lots
and
of
like
corn.
a drive-in, like an A&W.
Yeah, they didn't even have that.
Wow.
But they did have
Did they have a
great
stoplight?
ice cream. I don't think so.
It's a stop sign. All right. What was the ice cream shop?
The ice cream was Ivanhoe's. It's still
Ivanhoe's.
there. Yes. Yep.
The name of the ice cream shop was Ivanhoe's.
Yes.
That was his name?
Yep. In Upland, Indiana.
Upland.
Yep.
Ivanhoe's
I would
ice
say
cream.
if you're passing by, stop. It's
That's
worth
the
a
spot.
stop. Yep.
What made it so good?
I don't know. 50 different kinds of ice cream and a million different ways to serve it.
Wow. And that was the only place you could really get out to, huh?
Yeah, that's
All right.
true.
So you were there for 2 years?
Yes.
So you graduated in 82?
Two.
All right. So 1982, are you still single or married or dating or what's going on?
In 1982.
Yeah.
So I had actually met my husband when I was at Flint U of M. We were not
And then
dating.
you ran to Taylor.
We were not dating.
Oh, wait. Hold on. How did you meet?
I took my boyfriend to his Bible study.
Shut your mouth.
Yep. So
Wow.
So
and
that
in the
was-
Bible study, he was like, how chick a brown cow, huh?
yeah. So when I came back to Flint after graduating, I started working at Buick in their IT department, and my husband to be actually ended up back in the Flint area after getting his master's at Michigan State.
Wow.
And we crossed
Wait a
paths.
minute. You went to Michigan and he went to Michigan State.
Well, he got his
And his-
undergrad at U of M Flint. And then he went to Michigan State for his graduate.
The U of M people are very specific about that.
Yes.
All right, so you met him at a Bible study with your former boy. Then you both leave the area and then both come back.
Yes.
All right, did you get hired into Buick directly out of school?
Yes. I actually got hired into a contract company, and I started at Buick. And then not very long into it, EDS was purchased by General Motors, and then I transferred into EDS.
So what was your, what did EDS do?
It was all computer. I did a lot of programming for in the EDS, yes.
Wow. So you like speak a different language then. That's the zeros and ones forever language, right?
Yeah, it's a little easier than that, but yes.
And that's what you started doing, and I've never actually, I only know one other people I think that does programming. That's like really, really, like your math skills have to be crazy good for that, right?
They need to be pretty good, yeah.
You said you didn't. You said your grades were okay.
No, my grades were good in school. My grades were good.
Oh, there it is.
So.
Yeah, they were pretty good. So you did trig, calculus, anything beyond that?
No, not really.
Man, so no wonder you like everything in order and what's it's doing.
Yes,
Man,
math is great because you always have a right answer.
Oh no, I got 3 questions I want to ask right now that I'm gonna hold on till later. So I think we might have to pray for your husband a little bit. But anyway.
He is a math professor.
Oh, so you guys just crazy matches. Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a good match.
So he went to get what did he get his undergrad in? At UCAN?
Secondary education.
And then his master's was in what?
Some type of math.
Some type of math.
Yeah, and his PhD is in graph theory, which is a type of math.
Graph theory.
Yeah.
Wow, I am too dumb for this conversation, I think.
Yeah, but you're getting beyond my knowledge too. So.
Oh, thank goodness. Woo! So what does he do?
He teaches math at Saginaw Valley State University.
Very cool. So, all right, so he moves back to the Flint area after his master's degree. What's he doing?
He starts working at U of M, and then he goes to Western to get his PhD.
No kidding. And I'm assuming he's teaching or something at U of M?
He was, yeah, a little bit. And he wasn't in Flint very long, but then he went to enough to get a redirection on what he wanted to do, what type of math he wanted to follow into, and then went to Western. And then at graduating Western, he started teaching at Saginaw Valley. And he taught.
Oh, he's been there ever since?
Yep.
And when did he start that?
1987 or 88.
Oh, wow.
Probably
So
88.
He's been a professor for forever.
Yeah.
Wow. And you guys came back to Flint, and how long were you in Flint? How did you hook back up? Like, how did that happen?
So there was a group of churches who had a college event.
Oh, college and career event, and
Yes.
you guys met each other? Mm-hmm. All right, well, before we get into the next part of the story, we already got to go to our first break.
Okay.
So if this is your first time, please like, share, and subscribe. We will be with Cindy. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. Welcome back. I'm here with Chad. He's here with our drug dog, Hans, and he's been a big hit at the Depson Dogs. Tell everybody a little bit about Hans for us.
Hans is the man. Hans loves to find drugs. We take Hans and we search different rehab facilities, schools. We actually got Hans to serve the public. So, anybody in the public sector that wants any type of search. If you send a kid to rehab and you want your house swept before you come home, feel free to give us a call. Schools, they're a great deterrent as well.
I'm here with the regional chaplain down Genesee County. Kenny is here. They do great work inside the jail. Can you tell us a little bit about the programs that you guys have inside the jail?
Yeah, we have an opportunity that the sheriff allows us to come into the jail as guests to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with each one of the inmates that want to hear that. We have programs within inside the jail that we have Bible studies, we have people that come in and do one-on-ones as the inmates request it, but all of that's an opportunity to give them a choice at a different life than with the choices that they've been made to get here.
Outstanding. And they're one of our partners in the community to help people who are one of the people that help win, help us, help you, help those people around. I'm here with AJ. He's one of the committee members from Back to the Bricks. How do you think it's going today, bud?
Good. Yeah, I mean, everybody's here. Everybody seems happy, and we're doing it up in Flint just right.
Yeah, it's been a really good time. We're right by the jail, hanging out with some been very cool cars. And right to our left is their son was a deputy who had passed away, and so what they do is they have his car come out and they show it off at the different shows. We're sitting down here with UCAN and Reach the Forgotten and Spiritual Warfare Unit and Depths and Dogs and Back to the Bricks, of course, with the cars, because you guys are the cool kids.
We try.
You do it good. All right, we'll be around. Welcome back to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Cindy Johns, and she is from Carriage Ministries. And we were just getting her background in school and trying to force her to remember her husband's history, which is great. And he's a professor and been a professor. So he went out of, did he grow up in Flint and go to Flint schools too?
Yeah, he went to Grand Blanc.
Okay, so he goes to Grand Blanc, he goes to college, he stays in college, and then he gets paid at college.
Yes, and he's still in college.
And he's still in college at Saginaw Valley. That's really cool. I would not want to be that smart, I don't think. I just, the chaos would be, trying to put all that in order would drive me nuts. Anyways, so you guys met at some college and career function.
Yes.
And he asked you.
Yes.
And then how long were you, like, dating or whatever?
We were dating 2 years, engaged 1.
Oh, so a while, like you wanted to feel each other out? And
Yeah, make sure.
Wasn't a 6 months thing.
See, that's what the thing about, people in math, they got to figure it out and know the right answer.
They have
at
to have
end.
the formula.
Yes.
So you guys figured it out. And so this means you got married in 85? 87. All right. So in 1987, you get married, and you're still in the Flint area?
Yes, we live in Burton.
Okay. And you get a house there? Like, you're in the same house that you were in?
We've lived in our house 25 years. So we were in a couple of apartments and another house.
Right.
And then we've lived in our house right now 25 years.
All right. So you get married, and how soon before kids?
Couple of years.
Couple years?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are really, like, career-minded people. So how long did you work at Buick?
5 years.
5 years, and you're doing programming, basically?
Yes.
So after 5 years, like, why leave? I mean, I'm sure it was opportunity or something.
Yeah, we had our first child, and
Ah-ha!
I decided that that's what I wanted to do.
Boy or girl?
Had a boy.
All right. And so you said after 5 years, so this would make it 92?
It was 89. I worked at Buick for 5 years. We were only
And you
married
were
for a
working at
couple of
Buick
years.
3 years prior to getting married. Okay, so then you meet, and he's already at Saginaw Valley at this time, right?
Yes.
All right, so you leave because?
Because I had a child.
And then you stayed home?
Yep.
Okay. And so you're staying home, so obviously your son occupies your time, but what else do you do? Nothing? Just a newborn?
Nope. Yep. Just working in my church and
What'd you do at the church?
just preschool classes and Awana.
Yeah, I respect that because I can't do that ministry. It's so loud.
Oh yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah, you say that like it's like ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a person that struggles with migraines, that's, the Dante's Infernos of Hell. It's on that list somewhere. I haven't found it yet, but I'm looking. So you're doing that, and how long did you stay at home?
Let's see. So I had 3 children, and then
What's the year range between them?
5 years.
Between each? So it's 5?
Between the oldest
And the youngest?
was 5 years. Yep.
All right. So from, what was it, 87 to 92?
Yep. 90. The last one was born in 94.
Okay.
First one was born in 89, and the last one was born in 94.
All right. So you guys are just living the life
Yeah.
and
we were just choosing to serve the Lord in our local church with whatever was available. He taught a lot of Sunday school. We taught children's classes, missions committee, just whatever was needed.
Right. So you finish up with this, and when did you start saying, "Hey, I might want to get back out into doing something"?
At church, there was a job that they created called the Children's Ministry Coordinator, and I thought I might like to do that.
What made you think you'd want to do that? Just because you'd been doing Awana and the kids stuff already?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Okay.
And
Did they create the position so you could have it?
no,
Oh.
they created it, and then they were looking for somebody to fill it. But I do enjoy this, taking something that is in a disarray and setting it into order.
Yes, the chaos into order.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a brand new position, and so I did enjoy that, and I worked that for 5 years. But
When did you start?
oh my goodness,
So 94 is when you had your youngest.
94, and she was 4 years old.
All right.
So at
So
that
till
time.
99.
Yeah. So we did that. Yep. So I did that for 5 years, and I did enjoy it. And we ran a vacation Bible school, and
Wow.
my kids were either in it or helping. We did
So
that.
having the kids actually created the ministry because you're like, oh, I can do both.
I think so. Yeah. And,
Convenient.
it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So you do that for 5 years. So it's 1999, and you're doing that. And then why transition? What opportunity came up?
Well, I had started homeschooling, and so it was
Wait a minute. When did you do? You can't just say that. When did you start that part?
just probably in the last of those 5 years.
Okay. You're just adding
So,
stuff
yeah,
that you didn't.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
And-
And. All
so,
right.
yeah, so I started homeschooling, so it was difficult to maintain that job and homeschool. I was homeschooling 2 of my 3 children, and so I quit. I quit doing that, and in that time frame, a friend of mine was working at Carriage Ministries, and I said to her, "Hey, I just quit my job, but I would come and volunteer."
Now, wait a minute. You just said I stopped because I was too busy, but you still wanted to
A little bit, yeah,
volunteer somewhere.
yeah. So
Okay. How long was that from the time you quit till you started volunteering?
about 5 months.
Boy, you weren't that busy at all.
So
I think you're a busy person. You like to stay busy.
I do. I like to do things. Yep.
All right. So this is in 99, 2000?
Yes, I don't know the years. I'm sorry.
That's
But
why
it
I
all
do
makes
that. That's
sense.
why I asked the years for the timeline.
Yeah.
So it's right in there.
Yeah. So her husband was the director at Carriage Ministries, and she was a good friend of mine. So I went and volunteered with her. And then about 4 months later, he called me. He says, he was the director. He was executive director. He said, I'm leaving. I'm going to Texas. You know this job. We'd like to hire you for that job.
No kidding. That makes
was-
sense because there's a lot of disorder
Yeah.
with homeless.
Yeah. So I ran 3 programs for them. It was a back to school program.
Okay.
It was a Thanksgiving food box program, and then a Christmas adopt a family. So it wasn't a full time, and it really wasn't even part time because I just would come in and
For
run
those events.
programs, run those events.
Okay.
And I could take my kids with me. I could work from home. It was quite flexible and worked well for me.
So when he said, hey, because director is a much different job, right?
He called me and offered the job of the community.
Oh, doing those events.
Yeah.
All right. So basically it's 3 big events. So you got like certain times that you're busy and the rest of the time you're just planning for the next one.
Yes. So
All right.
it did work well in our homeschooling schedule.
And so what were those events like? Like what was the first one?
The first one is a back to school event. It's a 1-day event, and
So did you guys like do backpacks?
yes, and clothing.
And clothing?
Yeah, so that was what set us apart is we did the clothing for kids going to school.
So how did you get all that together? Like explain that to me.
It was actually it was really fun. And we would go out and we would actually purchase. I would start purchasing clothing, and then moms would come in. I get churches to partner with us to do backpacks and we'd fill the backpacks, and this is true for all the events. You know, you find partners who come alongside you. You purchase the items you need, and then you assemble them. And then we would register people in the community. they proved they had need, and then we would distribute on one day.
So the kids, they're going into school and they got their new school clothes, and they got their backpack and their pencils and their pens
Yep.
and
With the hopes that they will see the value of education, they will go in with the right attitude, not with the, feeling, oh, my clothes aren't adequate. Oh,
Well, you get picked on for that stuff.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Yep.
Believe me. You can.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah.
And so it was.
Kids can be cruel. I know you don't know that, but
They can. And it was a help. Hopefully it was a help. And hopefully as we got them prepared for school, they would have the right attitude so that they could learn. One of the bad keys to homelessness is a lack of education. And
right.
so if
and
you
constantly moving from like school to school to school every semester.
Yep.
And so you guys were combating all that. How long did that take to put together? Like from the time you started shopping to putting together, like how much time was invested in that?
Well, let's see. So we spent about a month doing it, but I don't know exactly how many hours. But
Well, I wasn't asking. I know you want to
Okay.
give me all the information, but you said it was fun.
yeah.
So what made it fun? In your mind, when you say fun, what does that mean?
I enjoyed meeting the people who would come, and so I'm a people person, and I like to meet people. So I really enjoyed getting to know the moms, and you get a kid that comes out and he's so excited about getting a new polo and a pair of pants for school,
Yeah.
or the new backpack. That kind of thing that's fun. So the reactions of the people who received the items was
So watching the
encouraging.
joy that was brought by doing this, and that was your first. Like I did that,
yeah.
and do you remember how many like backpacks and stuff that you put out? It must have been a bunch.
Well, our program was not super big because we also did the clothing.
Yeah, but define
clothing
super
is-
big. Is that like 50, 60, 100?
We were probably doing about 150 to 200 kids.
I love that you think that's not that big.
Okay.
That's my favorite thing. Well, listen, we only helped like 150 families. It was great. Not that much.
Yeah.
Because that tells us where we're going, and that's why I love this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to go to our second break.
Okay.
So again, if this is your first time, we're hanging out with Cindy at Spiritual Warfare Unit. Please like and subscribe. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Aaron with UCAN. We're out here at our third annual golf outing here in the Genesee Valley Meadows. So, really good day. We have a great number of teams, great sponsorship, great people. We're hoping for a great time. The weather's good. So, we appreciate all the support we get at all of our events. It helps us fight the fight that we fight. So, thank you all. Stay the course.
It's a lot of fun with a good cause. This is a very good cause, and I enjoy doing it. And I have my sons with me today, and we're just going to have fun. We know we're not going to win, but we're going to have fun.
Oh, today is an awesome day today. This is our fourth or fifth one here, and can't thank UCAN enough for what they do, especially on this situation where they have this outing, Mark and Debbie and all of them. It's just an amazing outing, and I couldn't think of it brings back memories, but it's a wonderful thing, and we really appreciate it.
All right, welcome back to UCAN Studios. This is The Warrior's Way, presented by Spiritual Warfare Unit, and we were here with Cindy Johns, and she was just getting her experience with doing Carriage Ministries, and it was a backpack thing, and you said, oh, only 100 or 150 kids. Well, what you don't know is my mom was one of those people that got help down there because she struggles. And so another reason why I'm a massive fan of what you guys are doing, because I was one of those kids that had to go through that scenario. And so you have no idea where. Now, when we were kids, the alligator, the J.C. Penney's was the ones that made fun of you on, and it was polo, and the other ones were like the horse, and those were the cool ones, right?
Yes.
And I remember I have a polo story, which I will share off air, but it was it's like it's handing people hope, and you get to see that, but that lasts for a while. It's not just a one and done thing. It's like, oh, I can't wait to go see. I like that place, right? Because those people care about you.
Yeah.
And so that's what you guys do. And another reason why I'm just a big fan, I couldn't wait to get you on here. All right, so you have the kids, and you're doing Carriage Ministries, and now, so what's your title at this point? Director of something.
My title at that point, I don't even know if I had one.
You were just an event coordinator.
Yeah, right.
I love
part-time.
it. Listen, when you got to invent the thing that you're like doing 54 hats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the thing that encompasses all these different things, right? So you start doing that, and what's your life look like at this point? The kids it sounds like they would be teenagers at this point.
Yeah, they're so I did that for about 5 years, and they moved. That I have now all of my children in school or graduated. In the process during that time, we also adopted a child from Guatemala.
Wow.
So she was almost 13 when she joined our family. And so I homeschooled her a little bit, and then so now all the kids are either in school or in college.
All right, so you have a 5-year pattern, like clockwork, that you're telling me here. Every 5 years, you switch into something else, which makes perfect sense for you, Cindy. I mean, this is perfect. Mathematically, it makes a lot of sense. So after 5 years, on the third cycle of, okay, now I want to do what? And what happens, and how did it happen?
So one of the guys that worked at Carriage Ministries said, "What are you going to do? Your kids are in school." I said, "I'm going to clean my house." He said,
makes sense.
Well, why don't you come to work for us full time?
And you can clean our house.
That's right. So he gave me about 2 weeks to clean my house, and then I started at Carriage Town. I was a volunteer coordinator. I would say that was my most favorite job of any job I ever had.
Out of all the jobs, this is the one. Okay,
Yeah,
why? Volunteer coordinator.
Yeah, I know, but
what does it do?
You got to connect. I connected with a lot of churches, a lot of individuals who really wanted to serve, didn't necessarily know where. So one thing I always think about Carriage Town Ministries is we're a bridge. There are people in the community who want to donate, financially donate, or donate items or serve, and they want to serve people who have needs, but they don't necessarily know who they are.
Right.
And we are the bridge that connects those two together.
Right.
So I had a lot of volunteers come, and I gave them tours of Carriage Town. That's always fun, because as they tour Carriage Town, they're surprised at the amount of programs we have, the things that we do in the community. I think sometimes people come into a homeless shelter and they expect it to be, I don't know, dirty, trashy.
Dirty, smelly,
Yep.
dungy.
Yep. Rodents running around,
Crap everywhere.
Yep. And it's not. Ours is not.
No, yours is very clean.
Yeah.
And so you just like showing off to everybody, look at what we're doing, and if you want to help.
Yes.
This is one of the reasons why I want to have the show, because our job is to create a bridge to those people who are looking for something to do, to the people who are doing it. And I say, look at this video. You can pre-select, hit the video, look at this person. Look what Cindy's doing over here. Isn't that cool? You should go see Cindy.
You can join me. Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
And I know you're looking for something. I got a list.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I've interviewed all these people, and I know they're great human beings, right? So you're doing the volunteer coordinating, and if you say 5 years ago.
Actually, this one was a little longer. It was more like 10.
So you actually were really into networking and help you help these people kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And it is fun. And, people have a big heart, and they want to do something. They want to do something impactful. The thing about when you come to Carriage Town, everything you do makes impact. You might not always see it, but if you are helping in the kitchen and you peel potatoes, that is going to feed somebody. If you're sorting clothing and putting it out in our emergency clothing closet, you don't necessarily get to see who gets that shirt or pants, but you know that it does. It helps somebody who doesn't have what they
Right.
need.
Somebody's not freezing tonight.
Yep,
Because you did so. And how many? Because you feed every day.
we do. We have 3 meals, 365 days of the year.
Holy smokes! And how many people comes in there? It's a bunch.
So we do 460 meals a day.
460. And how do you guys accomplish that?
We have a full-time staff. We have a food service manager and then a couple of cooks, and we hire residents to help us in the kitchen. And so we have 135 beds. So every one of those people need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And before the show, we were talking a little bit, just getting some background information. And like I had told you prior to the show, I have never not said, "Hey, Carriage Town," and it's not packed. Never. And you said 80%
Yeah.
capacity is your average
Yes.
at 135 beds. All right. And you help families,
Yes.
single moms, divorcees, homeless. And all of this stuff has been going on since when again? 1950?
Yes.
And you are a part of all of this, and your storyline is you grew up with people that were in the church helping people, got educated, got married, had your family, you're doing those things. So when you say you have programming, how many hours of programming in a week, and what kind of program? Well, first of all, how many hours a week of programming do you have? Like, is it like 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 5 hours a day?
So would you define what you mean by programming?
Yeah, sure. So like family classes, financial classes, Bible studies. Like,
Yep. So every morning we start our day with morning devotions. So and some of those are taught by volunteers. We do have during the week we have classes like we've had a preschool class. We've had one we call Mother's Moments for moms. We have a class of financial planning classes, different ones. We also have a learning center that is open, and so if you don't know computers, that's open 4 days a week. You can go and learn, learn how. You can also in there
learn what on the computer? Programming?
No, you learn.
I was like, Cindy, wow.
Just learn how to use the computer. Learn how to type. You can improve your vocabulary and your reading skills. You can learn to make a spreadsheet, and you can write up a resume.
A resume class. Wow, very
those
cool.
Things like that.
So if I was to ask you, what do you find like the biggest hindrances for people are going from whatever scenario got them there to where they're going? Like, what is the biggest issues that you see?
Well, the biggest issue is the choice. It's within the individual. It's
So like drug addiction, alcohol.
yeah. It's like I have to choose to change my life, and it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
I mean, we offer these things. We also mentor, and we have a program called a Personal Success Plan, and you set goals. So they would work with a mentor and set goals in 3 categories: knowing God, gaining knowledge and skills, and productivity. And then you have to work through those goals. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to change the patterns of your life.
Yeah, because you created these patterns that you thought would be successful, but the end has been destruction. For your life to be broken in such a way, it's not put back in its original form. That's what destruction means. And I really like that definition because there's a before and after moment, right? And then you guys go in there and you identify these patterns have produced this outcome, which has produced where we're at. And so this isn't an acceptable outcome. These are the patterns that you got to make. So if I'm going to be realistic, and I wanted to ask, how many like return out of those people do you have? Because I know in the jail, it's like 72% we have return. Is it similar to that?
It is high. I don't know the percentage. We find with women it is not as high as it is with men.
Wow.
But also, if you get involved in that personal success plan and you work through it, they have a much higher success rate because you've learned to set goals. You set goals, you've worked towards them, and you've finished. You've kind of like reset the course of your life.
And this personal success plan is something you guys created for?
Yes, Dallas Gatlin, our executive director, did some research
Mm-hmm.
to determine what were the markers that would make somebody successful.
Mm.
And so then that plan was based upon that research.
And how long is that program?
We've been using it about 10 or 12 years.
And how long does it take to set goals, accomplish goals, repeat?
Everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can actually do it. Highly motivated could possibly do it in 3 to 6 months.
Well,
Some people, it's 3 years.
so and I'm just guessing because I don't know the program, but it sounds like one of the ones start small goals to make better goals and
Yeah.
these choices and this outcome. All
And
right.
some people have to start with they don't even have your documents, and
Yeah, they
might
need
a
license,
GED,
social
and-
security. Yeah, it's bonkers.
yes,
And without those things, I mean, you can't get anything.
You can't get a
anything
job,
without
right.
your.
Yep.
Well, I just left it somewhere, and it's just left your only way to identify who you are as a person. It's extraordinary that that's a problem,
yeah.
right? And then transportation.
Transportation is a huge issue.
Yeah.
I do know that. So we have a transitional employment program,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a huge barrier as well. Is
Right.
that you can't get a job, but
Right.
part of it is you can't get to the job if you get
To
one.
have the job, even if you get the job, because you
Yeah.
can't get there.
Yeah.
It's just this revolving cycle, and it's like excuses aren't going to be malleable for the situation, but I get why this is a problem.
Yeah.
We got to take another break. We're about to get to my favorite part. Please sit tight, like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back.
I'm really impressed with the teachings that Isaac has been bringing to us, as this is all based from Proverbs.
I like it because it's simple, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's very easy to understand and apply to your life.
It points out, my bad parts, and, but it's showing me how to do the good parts. And, I'm trying to apply that and, make a better life for myself because I'm tired of where I've been.
It's impacted a lot of the guys as they continue to talk and ask questions after the meetings, as they speak to one another regarding the meeting and the messages and the topics that are being brought up, which are down-to-earth topics of situations and things that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
He takes the Bible and he breaks it down into simple terms and where you can understand. And like I said before, sometimes a lot of churches, even the Salvation Army, sometimes we start using these big words that people don't understand, like even saying someone got saved. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say someone got saved? And it's accepting Jesus into your heart. So it's like words like that we use that people don't understand.
It's just very interesting how he points out, the different things of, the sin part, and then he comes back with the, how to make it better, and he just points it out. It's there. I didn't know all this stuff was in there, but now that he's pointing it out, it's like, wow, I guess if you really dig into the Bible, you find these things.
This is a daily moral standards that we can live by, that the teachings are coming from. And honestly, we can take verse by verse as what he's done, and pretty much he's done the hard work for us and now laying it out so that we have an easier understanding.
There's some people who don't like to be in Bible classes, but this one seems to get their attention.
All right, welcome back to UCAN Studios. This is The Warrior's Way, presented by Spiritual Warfare Unit. We are in our last section with Cindy Johns from Carriage Ministries. I forgot to give a shout out. What is the website?
carriagetown.org.
carriagetown.org. So if people can go on there and check out, and as you can see on our screen, all the different things you could do to get involved. And it's been my experience, too. A lot of people want to help, but they don't know what to do.
Yes,
So one of the reasons of interviewing you guys, they, I like that person. I like what they're doing. And so they go in with a little bit of knowledge before they make a decision. And it's like doing a background check, because you know how people are like, I'm helping, but you never see them, but they're always helping. And sometimes it's because they're just busy, and sometimes it's because it's just not there. Those are two things. So you're working at Carriage Town, doing your stuff. How in the world did, of all things, donuts happen? Blue Line Donuts. How did that happen?
So we noticed that there is a barrier to employment for our residents.
Yeah.
So it was, how can we set them up for a better success rate?
Right.
So Really, this was Dallas Gatlin who come up with this. But the thought process was, how can we employ somebody? Well, how can we do a social enterprise? All right. And what would we sell? Well, one thing we do is we make food.
Right.
We make food all the time.
365 days a year,
Yep.
3 meals a day. That's what you said. She already
Yep.
had staff.
So we started trying to make some donuts. I don't know what we were thinking. We were thinking healthy donuts.
Yeah.
We were baking them.
Yeah, those aren't going to sell.
No,
You don't eat donuts for health.
You do not.
No, it's
they
comfort.
They really weren't that great.
I recall they were not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a couple people come alongside
Wait a
us.
minute. I have to ask this question. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Healthy donuts?
I know.
Really?
It was yeah.
I want my glazed donut to be good for me.
To be good.
But you're not allowed to have glaze or donut.
So we were baking them.
That's so funny.
You know what they call a baked donut?
What?
Cake.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a donut.
That makes sense.
It's just So, anyways,
They call it cake.
they call it cake.
That's
Yep.
beautiful.
So
All right, so the first batch of being healthy didn't work.
no, and so one of our residents at the time came up and he said, "Your donut tastes horrible," and he said, "I can make better donuts than this," and he could.
And that was a baker that I
And
had.
that was the baker you interviewed. Yes. Also,
Those nutties are delicious. Oh my
yes,
gosh.
they are good.
And the blueberry ones. Oh.
They're-
You know my
I think they're all
reckoning.
good.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm like, so 6 of those donut holes equals 1 donut. So if
Yeah.
I want 2 donuts, that's 12 donuts. Like I'm telling you, I'm justifying this so good because I'm like, right? Took me a long time to be chubby, and I'm no quitter. So, all right. So you guys are coming up. What year was this again? It was like
2017 is when we started thinking, started working.
because I remember
towards it.
getting some of those donuts, it's like,
Yeah.
and then when he came out those other ones, it was like ooh, and I mean it just took.
It did. We also had a local donut shop, and that person is no longer in business, but they came alongside us to help us out as well. And we started making much better donuts. You know, it changed.
They're good.
Changed the flour, changed the oil, changed everything. Donuts are all about flour. You know, the donut mix and the oil. So we named it Blue Line because we wanted to create a safe space between the first responders and the homeless population.
Right.
There's a lot of distrust.
A lot of friction there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we were hoping to create a safe space. So someone who is a first responder always can have a free donut and a free cup of coffee if they stop in.
So if they just stop in and say I need a donut and coffee.
Yep.
And it's not like that's a cliche with police officers at all. So, plus having the police there with the homeless population, let them see them as a human being, probably is I imagine it's creating relationships. I think.
That was the intent. Also, we are on the Crim line, which is a blue line. So that was a nice added thing as well.
Yeah. So those aren't big donut people though.
No, they're not.
They are
But
definitely in much better shape.
we have served donut holes on the Crim race, and they were.
While they're running, they're eating
Yep,
donuts.
Yeah, we didn't sell them. We gave them out, and they ate all of them.
If
so,
you could
hey.
please get me a picture of that.
I know.
That would be perfect. I'm exercising. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Oh gosh, now if you could just get those donuts at the gym.
Yes.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Maybe it's a new era for us. Yeah.
The only time you go to the gym and gain weight.
Yep.
Oh, that would be beautiful. And I would gain weight. Those donuts are really, really good. So you get in there and you start. So you couldn't find a way to get jobs for your people because of transportation, because of license and birth certificates and social security cards.
Yep,
Even
felonies.
felonies, state IDs, right?
Yep.
All of those things. So you said, fine, we'll create one. So how many people does that employ?
So we hired that baker who knew how to make the donuts.
You did? We interviewed
hired
him. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So he is a permanent position. And then from there, we started adding transitional employment positions. So the idea was that somebody would work in this, prove they had the soft skills for employment, show up on time, ask what do you need, know how to treat customers right, know how to treat coworkers right, all those things
Yeah,
you need.
quick question before you continue is how hard is that?
That is a lot harder than teaching skills.
Really?
That could be a change in patterns again. So
Is it antisocial issues and just or
yes, it's more showing up to work. Just show
the
up to work.
consistency? I
On a
gotcha.
consistent basis. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, no, go ahead, continue.
But
I
yeah,
just was curious.
So teach, or I say give the opportunity to prove soft skills. Train in that area. Train in either donut making or retail or something like that. Give the certifications necessary, such as a ServSafe certification. Work for us 6 months, and then maybe we get to recommend you to somebody in the community. So there are some businesses who we have connections with that we can say, hey, we've got somebody, do you have a job available? And that's kind of the whole goal here. I have one gentleman, Smoke, Rattle, and Roll, which is downtown Flint.
Smoke,
approached-
rattle, and roll.
Yeah, it's a restaurant in the University Center, University Pavilion.
Okay.
He approached me. Again, I have a position. I'm willing to take a chance on one of your transitional employees.
He came to you just out of the blue.
He knew our story. He knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
How cool is that?
So he hired a gentleman who worked for us, and so he started the guy who started working for them, and we cut down hours until it didn't take too long, but he's working 40 hours for Smoke, Rattle, and Roll, and I'm like, okay, you got to give all your job up, because we had cut down to only like 2 hours a day. I said, you got to give it up to the next guy in line.
No
And
kidding.
So he works for him full time.
So you transition from homeless, job skill difficult, to job to training, and you kept the wheels on and then he was off and running.
Yep.
That
I
is
saw
amazing.
him-
Now I want to go check that out just so I can I
Yes,
wonder who it
go
is,
ahead,
right?
yeah. I saw that guy today, and he bought himself a new bike. And
Nice.
so now he rides his bike to work. So that is just
Step in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's a great story, and that is exactly what we wanted to happen.
Right. And that's what Blue Line Donuts does, right?
That's what we do. Yep.
When you guys came up with that idea, the second you came out with that, I'm like, I remember I was at the jail and I'm like, oh no, this is a great idea, right?
Yeah.
Because, and then, like I said, our radio show is right around the corner from you guys. And one of the things that I think is really great that you have to do is you have the people staying at your location pick up litter. And we'll actually be like at 1 o'clock, we'll be on the radio, and these guys will be walking by, waving, "Hey, how are you?" They'll come up, some of them kiss the glass, in the middle of the show, which is funny. And but like, who came up? Is that something you guys been doing all the time? Like, how did you get? You're always having them give back, and then you're giving back to them, and then you're having volunteers giving them, and everybody has a spot. It's just smart. The whole thing is smart.
It adds a lot to our community. It's just we want to give back to our community, and this is one way that our residents can give back. And we also shovel the sidewalks in the winter when the snow.
For like the neighbors and the people that are down there?
Yeah, we have about I think it's 10 or 12 blocks that we shovel the snow off the sidewalks.
Wow. And it's actually kind of nice down there. I know it's lower income, but some of those old houses got some great bones, man.
They
that
do.
yellow and white house with all the statues, and then there's the pink one, right? And then there's the big brick one with the. It's like, man, this place, you could tell it was really beautiful.
So the University Avenue corridor through there is that is a organization, and they've done a lot of work to try to make the University Avenue just a better place to live.
Yeah, and here's the thing that is just a tip of a cap is everybody knows in this area, Carriage Ministries. But the thing that is like the most beautiful part about it, and why I'm such a big fan, is you guys help improve your area, which that's not always how all of this works, And you guys have been able to do that. And you said you have 135 beds.
Yes.
And 80% occupancy most of the time. And this trend of doing these things and setting these people up for success and letting them have the opportunity to be successful has been moving forward, and this is the advancement that you've been doing. And how long have you been in the position that you're in now?
6 years.
Wow,
Not
we
5.
beat the 5-year mark.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're just loving it,
Yeah.
right? So what's the future plans coming into, or events that you got coming up that you want to tell people about? We got a few minutes left.
Yeah, so on June 4th, we have a Taste of Carriage Town. Our kitchen makes everything in this box lunch that Blue Line makes the bread. We make donuts, put donut holes in it. Nothing comes from the grocery store. It all comes out of our kitchen, and it's a fundraiser.
Okay.
You can go to our website and purchase a box lunch.
How much is that?
It's $12.
$12 for a box lunch?
Yep, it's a really good box lunch, and you come after church. June 4th is a Sunday. You come after church. You drive through our parking lot, pick up your box lunch, pick up 10 or 20 for your friends, and
Nice.
have lunch together.
So go after church, grab boxes for the family, go home, eat a cooked meal, a ready to eat meal for you, and it has some donuts in there. You said,
It
right?
does donut holes.
Of
Put
course,
holes
donut
in there.
holes. So
Yep.
you can have more than one.
That's right. Or save one for tomorrow if you want.
That never, no chance eating them all at that moment. Them blueberry nutty ones are just good. Oh man, I can just hear myself getting fatter. They're so good. It's an addiction, I think. Anyways, you got anything else coming up over? So when is, I would imagine, the school, so Memorial Day's coming.
Memorial Day's coming. Yep. We start. This is really only for our residents, but we do a summer education program for the children. So that will run. Our Back to the Books event will be July 28th because the kids start school like August 1st.
Really?
Yeah, in Flint.
Back to the books. Very smart.
So, and then we move into, of course, our fall, where for the community we will do a Christmas adoptive family program. We
Do you still
that.
do Thanksgiving? The Thanksgiving thing?
We don't provide boxes in the community like we used to 20 years ago, but we provide a Thanksgiving dinner, a cooked dinner, which is
All right, and that back to the books is that the backpack event? If people
Yes.
want to do that with the clothes and then donate, so they would just go to the website, click on, and they could find out. Now, do you have like a community calendar with your events and stuff on it?
We do. We do. It says events on our website on the top ribbon, and you can find out some information there. If it's not up, it might not be up yet because we haven't really ended this year.
Yeah, not till July 1st, right?
Yeah, I know it's like really short now. The summers are so.
Yeah, well, I just want to thank you for coming in. And a lot of people say, "Well, I don't have an interesting story because nothing terrible happened to me." And the thing is that is a rare story, where someone, their life, and they go in, and their parents and their family, and it's functional. That's the rarity, not the norm. And then they carry that functionality to the next generation and help them. And I find the fact that that's how your story went, and here you are all these years later, through the 5-year cycle into 6, and you still love doing it. You're very passionate. You're absolutely just wonderful to hang around with. I absolutely enjoyed myself very much, and I wanted to thank you for coming in. So, guys, please go check out, give me that website one time, carriagetown.org.
Yes.
carriagetown.org to go check out on there if you're looking for something to donate to or invest time in. Or you can go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You can click on struggling. We have over 20 different nonprofits just like Carriage Town that are doing good. So if that doesn't tickle your fancy, we got something to help you out. Thank you so much for coming into Warriors Way at Spiritual Warfare Unit, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Spent so much time believing the lies. I knew I wasn't meant to live this way. But my walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way.